As Christian men, we are called to surrender our lives to Jesus. To surrender to Jesus means to give in, not to give up. We are called to use our strengths, abilities, and opportunities to grow and prosper. We are called to strengthen ourselves, our families, and our communities. We are called to be disciplined, courageous, and honorable. This is Surrendered Strength.
Man, welcome back to another episode of the Surrendered Strength podcast. I'm your host, Simon Lansing, and today's episode is a good one, as I have a guest, John Stewart Hill, which we will get to him in just a second. I'm gone training this week, so a little different background for the intro. But I wanted to just give you a heads up. During the interview, we had some connection issues, so it's a little choppy, but I want to just encourage you to stick around because John has a great message, and not only does he have a great message, he's also doing good things to help people out. He started in Texas, and now he's going national, pretty soon global. So I just want to encourage you to stick around, listen to his message on surrender and just giving it to God, giving your life to God and allowing God to work in ways that you and I will never expect. And even when things on the outside don't seem like they're moving and changing, God is working. So again, I apologize for the choppiness. We had some connection issues, but I think you're going to really enjoy today's episode. So with that, I'll see you next week and enjoy.
Well, I sure appreciate you allowing me to come on to the show. And my name is John Stewart Hill. I'm the founder of the Good Contractors List. And for 14 years, we've been doing something that nobody has ever even attempted to do. And that is to stand between homeowners and contractors and guarantee the work of every contractor that's on our list. And so we have every type of home service that you can think of. We're here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Like I said, I've been here 14 years, and we have a very unique perspective on contractor homeowner relationships, and so I'd love to share that with you today. And about 3 or 4 months ago, we decided to take this national, and in just a short time that we announced that we're going to go national, we're now in 17 different states that we have contractors coming to us wanting to be backed by our $25,000 guarantee. So that's what we do, is that we actually give the homeowner a $25,000 guarantee that the job will be done right, or we will pay to fix it. And man, next level of protection for homeowners. It's a great place to separate the good contractors from those that are a little bit more risky. Right. And so we're trying to build a community, what we call safe contractor communities across the nation. And so that's what we're doing. And I look at this more as a movement really than a business. And I'm just very proud to be able to now reach the nation with this amazing model.
Nice. Awesome. Well, I'm excited that you reached out to me and wanted to share not only your business, but your story. And you gave me a kind of a summary. So let's go back and kind of go back over your story and how you came from tragedy to purpose and finding the power of surrender and, walking out your calling.
Yeah. Well, at 42 years old, I found myself kind of at the bottom in my life. I'd been divorced 3 times. I really never did have a career to speak of. I was in the Navy for 11 years and got out and just kind of did whatever I could to make money. I kind of landed in sales, sold for Yellow Pages, and at 42, I was selling coupons. So I did not feel like at 42 I had reached any kind of pinnacle of any kind of value for on the planet. And so I was in a really dark place. I was raised as a child in church. It was a Pentecostal church, and I don't know if you know that denomination, but it's pretty strict.
Right.
And it's like if there's a mark on the book when you get to heaven, you're toast. You're not getting in. And so I kind of led this life of feeling like I wanted it to be perfect, but I was so imperfect, in my life that I really didn't want to be here anymore. And so in 2011, I found myself in a place where I was praying that God would I was just like, God, would you just take me off this planet? I don't want to be here anymore. I don't see any purpose in where I'm going. I don't know. I have no reason to be here. I hadn't really touched anybody. There's going to be a few people who might be sad, but they'll get over it. I mean, it was just like I just was in a really bad place.
Yep.
And so in February of 2011, during a big freeze that happened here in the Dallas Fort Worth area.
2011, you're kind of in a place where God, just take my life. I mean, was there any suicidal thoughts in there, or
Well, I wasn't gonna. I because of the way I was raised, I was just like committing suicide was the guarantee that you were, that you were going straight down, And so, um, I think where it stopped recording, it was I had gotten to the hospital and the doctor had said that it wasn't pneumonia, it was my heart. And to have my family come back up. Again, this is 2 a.m. in the morning, solid freeze on the ground. The roads are closed. And so I kind of argued with her, and she's like, "No, I really wish you'd have them come up here. We're gonna have to take you to ICU and do some more tests." And I didn't understand, but I called them and said, "Hey, they're thinking it's my heart. Can y'all come back up here?" And while I was laying there, I could kind of hear the conversation that was going on out in the hall. And the nurse comes to the doctor and says, "Well, don't you have to have permission from the director to move him to ICU?" And she goes, "Not in this case. He's tombstone." And I knew that whatever it was grave.
right,
And I just I started thinking, I'm like, if this is dying, it really isn't that bad. I feel like I'd probably just fade off. It's like my lifelong dream to be able to, repent right before I die. Like if I knew when I was going to die. And so here I am. I'm like, I'm really close to death. I could repent right now and have a clean slate,
yeah,
and,
absolutely,
and so it was kind of it was a weird place. Um, and then, so as they're willing me to ICU though, uh, it wasn't an audible voice, but it came so far out of left field and it was so loud in my spirit. And it was God saying, "Well, John, do you want to stay or do you want to go?" And I mean, it hit me hard because I was like, I've been asking to go, but there was something in me and it was just a louder voice than my desire to leave at that point was that God was saying, "If you decide to stay, I will be with you and I will give you a purpose." And that resonated with me. And so for the next hour, while the cardiologist and his team are trying to make it in on icy roads, I'm on the bed just thinking through my choice. What am I going to do? And so I finally said, God, I would like to stay if that's okay with you. But I do not want to be the same guy I was that I've been. I want to be remembered for doing something good. And then there was actually three. I wanted to be remembered for doing something good. I wanted to live every day, not just be alive. And I wanted to touch as many people as I could the remaining time I had on this planet. And when I made that request, all I could say was that the energy that filled that room, I mean, I was prepped for the cardiologist to come in and do the test, where they pump the dye through and see what's going on.
yep,
And it felt like if I could actually see into the spirit realm, it would have been he was dancing around my bed. That's what it would felt like. Like
sure,
he was dancing around my bed, going, "That's my boy." And I heard as loud as in my spirit as I could hear it, "So be it." And I knew I was going to be fine somehow. Well, the doctor comes in, he runs the dye up there, had one blockage that was 100%, another one that was 95%, and there was just a little trickle going through. And he goes, "You've had a massive heart attack, and I'm not even sure I can fix this with stents." And he's like, "I may have to crack you open." And at this point, I was just like, "Do what you need to do. I'm here."
yep,
And so he went in, he did three stents, got him just positioned just right. And it's what is probably the most moving thing is that a lot of the whole staff, it was like so late at night that everybody that was on duty was standing behind this glass wall like you see on TV, and they're watching to see what's going to happen. And when the blood returned to my heart and they could see that it was pumping through okay now, it erupted into applause and people were, you know, just being thankful and going, "Woo, yeah," And my life changed on that bed, and so when I got out of the hospital just a few days later, um, I married my girlfriend. We were living together at the time, and I was like, "Man, I've got to start out right." And so we got married. Um, I mean, I wasn't in any different position. I was still broke. I still was in a job that I really didn't like.
Yeah.
Um, so I didn't have anything on the outside that was different. But what was different in me was I knew that I wasn't here for me anymore. It wasn't about me. It was about the purpose that he was talking about. And he said he would be with me and give me a purpose. Had no idea it was going to be a business. No idea. I had no background in business, never even managed anybody. So it was it. So for him to pick me to do something, it's the epitome of every story you've ever heard in the Bible of taking somebody who wasn't qualified
Right.
and making them something. And so that's been my life for 14 years. I can say that 6 months later, we started the Good Contractors List, and I left my job, my $35,000 a year job, to go out with a yellow legal pad and start talking to contractors about the vision that I had been given. And here we are, 14 years later. We've backed over $5 billion in work. Um, it's just been an amazing ride, and we're creating something that I truly believe will shine a light on a very dark industry. The contracting industry is known for being shady. There's so many horror stories out there, and what we've been able to create is something that will actually fix the broken system. And I'm just really proud to be able to be here today and tell this story.
Awesome. I love it. There's two things that you mentioned. I want to go back to. The first one was you mentioned that on the outside you were still broke. That nothing had changed, but on the inside you essentially knew. And
Yes.
I know I've been there, and I know there's other people that are like, you know, got them here, and there's just nothing changing. You're still in the current situation. You're still in the same job. You're still in the same, broken marriage, whatever it may be, but something inside of you is different.
Yeah.
Kind of go into that a little bit more and just share some of the things that started resonating and happening in you in terms of the way you were living.
I think what it really did for me was because I was so performance based, because of how I was raised and how I thought God looked at me. Um, I I kind of got a reset. I was in a place where I was like, I don't want to listen to what anybody says anymore. I don't want to look at this through religious eyes anymore. All I know is God spoke to me. He said he's going to be with me. He's given me a purpose. So that must mean that he loves me, you know? And I'm like, I'm going to love God even if I don't have all the answers. Because I had a lot of questions. I didn't understand if the Bible's perfect, why are there so many versions of it? Wouldn't perfect mean there would be one manuscript that everybody had the same exact, it's like no, there's things that we won't ever understand. I don't understand the concept of hell. It didn't make sense to me. But I realized that this relationship that we're talking about, it's a relationship. It's not a bunch of check the marks. I went to church. I prayed for an hour today. I did I'm a good Christian. Our only righteousness is Jesus.
Yep.
He's the only righteous thing about us. And so by having a relationship with him, and I mean, all the scriptures, they all started coming to life with me. I have been crucified with Christ. It's no longer me that lives. So that guy that was on that table, he really died that day. He didn't live. Now I'm alive in Christ. And so now Christ can live his life through his spirit through me. And so every day I just was like, God, what do you have for me today? What is it that you're wanting me to do? And when he gave me the idea for the good contractors list, it was scary. I mean, I didn't know what I was doing, literally walking out with nothing and going and talking to people about guaranteeing their work, about having a good contractors list. I mean, it's like uh, I worked in sales. It's hard. Sales is hard, but here are people writing me checks and I don't even have a website yet.
Yeah,
And that's called God's favor because he has favor on the purpose more than the individual. So I know that I'm flawed, but God is perfect. And Jesus knows and the Holy Spirit knows how to get you where he wants you. And so that's my thing today is like what I did there is when I died, then the life around me doesn't own me anymore.
no,
So I'm not driven by what I see. If it looks like it's going to crash and burn, well, if it crashes and burns, I was bought with a price. He's taking me where he wants me to go. Let it burn. I'll go wherever he sends me, And so the business didn't own me. The money doesn't own me. And so I'm able to walk in a level of integrity that a lot of people probably would like give up on some things,
right. Yeah,
but the favor of God is on this business and on this purpose, which I truly believe this story and just in what we're doing right now, encouraging people who are at the bottom, who are, I was at that place where I just wanted to die. I didn't want to be here anymore. I
yeah,
didn't see any value in my life, but God gave me a purpose because I surrendered to Him,
yeah,
because I laid it all down and I said, it's not about me anymore. It's really all about your purpose. And his goal is to have a relationship with as many people as possible, and he will move heaven and earth to find the one that'll say, I want that relationship with you, Lord.
absolutely. And you're 100% right. That and being in a place where you were praying for death, there's lots of people, myself included, that they've contemplated the suicide, and they're in that place where they just want it to end, and feel like that's a way out, or that'll give them relief. But it there's no relief in that. There's
Yeah.
relief in surrender, like you're talking about. Absolutely.
Yeah. It's just give when you come to Christ, what you're giving is your will. What you're sacrificing is your will. What you're really sacrificing is the identity that you lived in.
Yep.
And right now, this world has an identity crisis.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And what we need to be able to do is say, if you'll come to Jesus, if you allow His Holy Spirit to guide you, take you where He really wants you to be, you'll be fulfilled and you'll be happy in the space that you're in. And what will happen is that you're not living your life as the best father, the best businessman, whatever thing that you want to identify on this earth with. You are a living vessel for Jesus Christ.
Absolutely.
It can't get any better than that. There's no amount of money that can get any better than that. So as a vessel, take me where you want me, Lord. I don't care. Your will, not mine. Jesus did it.
Yep.
Your will, not mine, Father. And it's just changed my life so dramatically that I'm just a living testament. And that's exactly what this platform is for. I think that the Good Contractors List is going to make way for the story.
Yep.
And I think that it's going to change a lot of eternal lives, you know, just because doing a worldly good, obviously. I
Yep.
think the business is obviously going to uh, help people out, keep people from being ripped off and all those great things. But the bottom line is this is a kingdom. business. I'm a kingdom man, and so my story is going to be this. When I get the opportunity.
I love it. And yeah, you're right. We do these worldly things, but we get to share the eternal story that that Christ has done for us, and that we get to have that relationship with God. Absolutely.
Yeah, man, can't be beat. And he still surprises me, but it's amazing. I had a heart transplant in 2022. Finally, my heart kind of gave out on me, and so about a year and a half later, after my heart transplant, I got to meet the donor family, which was an amazing, probably the most emotional thing I've ever had to go through. Because I know I'm standing there in front of them, mom and dad, and they wanted to hug their son, but they were so gracious and just pulled me into the family immediately. And so I bought a stethoscope and brought it so they could hear their son's heart beating inside me. His name was Christian, and he was he had a heart, I mean a brain aneurysm, and so he was taken pretty quickly at 28 years old. So very young man. What was extremely God has ways of showing us that we're still on the right track with him. And their last name was Wackel, Wachal. And I was like, what is that? What is that? And so I looked it up, and it's Bohemian for watchman. And his first name was Christian. So I literally hold the heart of Christian Watchman now. And they gave me pictures of him, and they used to call him Superman, because he was always wanting to do more than he really was capable of doing. I mean, like he wanted to touch the world. And so when I met with them, they had a Superman uh, like poster type of thing, just the emblem, and they had all signed it saying that they loved me and welcome to the family, and they were very gracious that their son's heart, which is still beating, by the way,
But
and still touching lives, um, through his sacrifice of putting his name on that donor list, he's now multiplied himself. And so the way I look at it is every life that is touched by the people who are alive because of him are going to be accredited to him in heaven.
right,
So my goal is man, I want him to have a full boat of people that came to Christ, that whose lives were changed because he decided to put his name on that donor list.
absolutely.
And I will not dishonor him, in that. So,
Awesome. That
yeah,
is a great. I don't want to say end, but great part of the story, to just be able to take what was and continue to use it to impact so many lives.
yeah, man.
It's awesome.
He, yeah, I have the thing, I have it memorialized now, and so I'll just go up there and I'll look at it every day. Christian, we're gonna go do some good things today. You know,
Awesome.
he's with me. Um,
Awesome. So, um, go kind of before you got to the idea of the good contractors list, kind of walk through that it was about 6 months from your heart attack to you creating that. Walk through that kind of 6 months, that journey of surrendering every day, and hey God, what do you have for me? Because there's so many people out there that are like, I just want to know my purpose, I want to know my calling, and
yeah,
God, what do you have for me? And sometimes that's a long journey, sometimes
yeah.
maybe shorter. So
I had a lot of conversations with the Lord, and I spent every day knowing that I wasn't going to be able to think it. I wasn't going to be able to come up with it. It wasn't something I was going to do, but I would know, just as I knew that he was speaking to me, that he would direct me. And so I went into every day just being thankful for being alive, which was something that I had never done. I mean, I always looked at things and I could see, well, my past was really bad, or My future looks so bad. And I could never live in the moment and just be grateful
Yeah.
for what I had, you know? And so the shift that happened in me at that point was that no matter what happens to me, I'm here for whatever it is he wants me to do. And because I had approached it like that, is like I'm not going to uh I'm not sitting here listening to sermons anymore. I know this it was way different. I had to be led by the Holy Spirit on every step. And that was yeah, he walked me through a lot of stuff. And we had a lot of arguments. And but you know, every day I went to work. I did what I was working for that coupon company still, you know.
Yeah.
And then one day a contractor I was trying to sell an ad to said, you know, I don't really have the money to buy the whole market here by myself, but I have a good electrician that I know, and I have a good roofer that I know and trust, and we could get together and maybe buy this ad.
Yeah.
And so this idea dropped into my mind. What if I could create a website where only the good guys are there and they would refer each other to the list rather than, you know, just one off in it to, you know, do you know a good plumber? Do you know a good electrician? And so I started, and I'm still thinking about selling this ad, but I had gotten on, had built a couple of websites, online websites before, and I thought, you know what, I could probably do that. We'll name it something, and then we'll just do the ad for that, and they could all pitch in. It'll be real inexpensive for them.
Yeah.
Then the just it wouldn't leave me alone, and you probably understand that when God's asking you to do something, you can't just ignore it. I mean, you can,
You can try.
but it's miserable.
Yeah.
And so
Absolutely.
so I just was like, God, what are you saying? And I felt like this is what I'm supposed to do. Contractors? You know, I mean, I had sold ads to contractors a long time. And back when I was in the Yellow Pages, I had a couple of run-ins with guys that had huge ads in the Yellow Pages that I thought, these guys are crooks. There's nobody protecting anyone. So it all kind of culminated. All the things that I'd done in my life had come to this point and was, this is what I have for you. And so I was like, okay, I'm making $35,000 a year. I could probably talk to a few of these contractors and see if it would work. But then I just kept that thing in my spirit that said, if you do this while you're working, you're stealing company money. You know, you're trying to build something for you while somebody's paying you to build something for them. So I was like, okay, all right. I walked in and I went up to my boss and I said, I've got an idea that I've got to do. I don't know if it's going to work, but I have to quit. I cannot work for you and try to make this idea happen. I don't even know how it's going to happen. And so he just shook his head and was like, are you serious? Why would you do that? I'm like, I just feel like it's something I'm supposed to do. And so went in, quit my job, had one paycheck coming back, nothing in the bank. I mean, we were broke. We were still having to do payday loans to get my car payment made.
Yeah.
And so I went out and grabbed my yellow legal pad and started telling people about my idea. It just kind of evolved, and that's how we got here, man. And so uh, it was day at a time, one download at a time,
Yeah.
and and then just walking it out in faith. And I wrote the jingle. I wrote all the paperwork. Matter of fact, we just we just brought on a CEO. So for the first time, it's always been me for 14 years. Like I've just been the guy that led it, and we've had a small company here in the Dallas Fort Worth area. But now we have a professional CEO, a businessman who's a part of this, which is also another God story. But when he came in, he's like, "So where did you get these contracts made?" I'm like, I typed them up on Word. Like the contracts that we've been using for 14 years weren't even legal contracts.
Yeah.
Like they were just information sheets, you know, basically collected. And so it's funny to look back now and go how unsophisticated, uneducated that I have been in 14 years. And I've won awards. I've actually won entrepreneurial awards. And I remember the day that I won that award, when we left, I was like, babe, I was talking to my wife, I was like, I'm an entrepreneur. She goes, well, yeah. And I'm like, I never looked at it that way because I was just living out my life, doing what I felt God was wanting me to do. And so here I've got an award in my hand, Entrepreneur of Excellence, out here. And I'm like, I just didn't even know. And it's so funny. It's just, but it's looking back now and where we're going. Now it's set up. It's got a structure. It's got all the right legal stuff. It's got everything set for growth, and so we're ready to go, man. We're ready to go and create safe contractor communities in every city across the nation. And I truly believe that we can do it. There's a lot of really good contractors out there. All we have to do is bring them together under one uh, overseeing entity
Yep.
that's willing to bet money on their work. And so that's what we've been doing 14 years and $5 billion in work backed. We haven't come out of pocket. That was $127,000 total for 14 years. That's
Yeah.
actually had to come out of pocket.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's a proven system now. There's nothing stopping it.
Awesome. Um, would you, so we're kind of getting to the end of our time. Would you, I'm worried that the, when when we first started that piece that we got disconnected, um, got kind of cut off. So will you kind of just go back and now that we're kind of at the end of the story of where you are now, go
Yeah.
back and just tell everyone again, just in case it did get cut off,
Okay.
what the good contractor list is and what your vision for it is.
Yeah, sure. My name is John Stewart Hill. If we missed that, um, and I'm the founder of the Good Contractors List. And what the Good Contractors List is, it's something that nobody's really ever even attempted to do. And I've been told many times it's the worst business model that it can be. I mean, because we limit how many people can be a part of the organization, and we guarantee every job they do up to $25,000.
No.
So. Um, where we have stepped in and become that middleman that has watched from a very unique position that homeowner contractor relationship. We found that a 99% of the issues that will escalate with a homeowner is just based out of fear because there's so many horror stories out there that they go into this relationship with this notion that, God, I sure hope I'm not made a fool of. I don't want to tell my friends that I got ripped off by a contractor. I don't want to be that. And so they go into that very emotional. It's a very emotional thing to hire contractors if you're already afraid of them. And so what we found is that when bumps in the road happens, um, it's typically it's a world problem. I mean, it's like the electrician who was supposed to be there tomorrow um, got sick and can't be there. So now that's delayed, which is going to delay this. And, so it's a balancing act bringing contractors in your home for anything. And, um, and so as soon as something like that happens, homeowners get very defensive and then sometimes they'll kick them out of their house if they get too worried. If a couple of things happen, it's over. And so having a third party that's in the middle saying, I promise you, this guy's a good guy. He's gonna do what he says he's gonna do. Let him get to the end of this job. This is the real world. He couldn't help that his electrician got sick at last minute. It's just the world, and we have to kind of roll with it. Homeowners go, okay, all right, well, as long as you're watching and making sure I'm not going to be made a fool of,
Yep.
um, 99% of the work is finished to the end. They're happy with it. Um, there's been a few times though that the contractor didn't do what they were supposed to do, and we had to step in, remove the contractor from our list, find a way to finish the job. There's been times that we've had to reimburse money that the contractor gave, and but we find them out pretty quick. When you put a logo out there that has good with a halo over it, and you start talking about a guarantee, you better believe people are going to hold you to that.
Right.
So you can't walk outside of that integrity of what you say you're going to do,
Right.
or you'd be blasted.
Yep.
So 14 years later, telling everybody this is the place to hire contractors. It's the safe place. We back all of our contractors with a guarantee. I think $127,000 is a small amount of 5 billion, in work covered.
Right.
So that's what the Good Contractors List is. We are here to create safe contractor communities. And what is different about this is it's more of it's a movement more than it is a business for me. We don't charge a lot for a contractor to be backed by us. And together, we call it collective authority. When the contractors come together and they agree that we're going to do the right thing, they start taking ownership of their community.
Yep.
And so if they hear that the plumber that's on this list is doing something shady, we hear about it.
Yep.
And and if homeowners see somebody being shady, we hear about it. So we're able as a community to create something safe and pure. And so that's what I'm trying to do. We did it here in Dallas Fort Worth. There's contractors who network together. They refer everybody back to the list. They get homeowners registered. And the bigger your community grows, where do you live?
I live in Iowa.
Okay, so in Iowa, you could literally in your town, if you had one good contractor that you knew was the right guy,
Yep.
and that guy knew two or three other contractors, together they start building a collective, and now they're talking about the good contractors list, not themselves.
Yep.
They're able to come to the homeowner and say, if you register here, like let's say you're a plumber, you register here. If you need a roof, go here. If you need air conditioning, go here.
Yep.
And so it's a value proposition to a homeowner to now have a safe place that they can go. And so it'll perpetuate based on the communities that we build. And so that's what we're looking for is contractors who will do the right thing over and over again that have done so, have a reputation to back it, and we will back them with a $25,000 guarantee and give them the platform where they can now pull everybody into this one place where everyone benefits. As a collective, the more homeowners that register, that plumber's customer becomes the roofer's customer. The
Yep.
roofer's customer becomes the AC guy's customer. And listen, we can have every type of trade that there is in an area and protect homeowners all at the same time while creating a valuable lead source for contractors who are working in the collective to
Right.
get homeowners there. It's an amazing uh, culture that we try to build in every city. So that's what we are. That's what we're trying to do.
Well, I'll tell you what, I wish I would have known about this about a year or two ago because we've had some home improvement projects that it would have been nice to have that guarantee. I mean, we haven't had any issues, but just to know that that guarantee is there, that it's covered, that
hmm
that would be a lot of stress off of.
Takes a lot of stress off. And even if you think it's a gimmick, we're real people. You can call us. You
Yeah.
know, if you have an issue with somebody, email us. It's right. I mean, you just from the website. Hey, I hired this guy and I don't think he's that great. This is what he did.
Yeah.
And we get involved in every single complaint. And
So everyone has that guarantee, and I think I think what you're doing is great, and I'm so grateful that you shared your story with me, and I think there's going to be a lot of people that are going to benefit from it because even whether they need the contractor or not, just the story of surrendering and knowing that they can surrender, turn to God, and God will move in ways even when they can't see things on the outside.
yeah, he will do that for sure.
Absolutely. Um, so where can people contact you, contact the good contractors or contractors list? I'll make sure to put all the links in, but just share with the audience.
Well, like I said, this is a movement, and we need everybody to participate if it's going to work. And so, what I would ask is that if you're a homeowner and you know a good contractor, go to thegoodcontractorslist.com and refer them. We have a button there that says refer a contractor. And so that'll give you the opportunity to start building that safe contractor community in your area. And so once those contractors start coming on, then we are going to ask them to be partners with us, help us build more, a larger group there in your city. And after you get to a certain point and you get homeowners to register, then we can start marketing to those guys for you. And so it's really what I call collective authority marketing, and it's bringing all these. It's more of an authority to say I have a full group of people who do things right,
Yep.
than to just say I do things right.
Yep.
Every person who sits in front of you will say I do things right. I'll give you a 100% guarantee. But because there's no guarantee beyond that contract, which is just you and the contractor,
Right.
it's very scary because if y'all disagree, it's just your word against theirs. So try to, if you will help me build in your community a safe contractor community, then we will reward you. We give a $125 bonus to people who refer contractors that end up joining us. So that's a fantastic way to make a little extra money if you know really good contractors. If you are a good contractor, it's a very simple process. We have a $2,800 FBI level background check software that where we know who you are, where you came from, what jobs you've worked, if you shut down an old company to start a new one because that one was destroyed. But if you're a good contractor that does things right, it's a simple thing. It's $500 setup fee and $250 a month for us to back every single job you do with a $25,000 guarantee. So we don't ask a lot of you financially, but we do ask a lot of you personally, and that your business does reflect what we stand for, because we will easily stop that $250 a month if it doesn't look like you're a good fit for our group. And so if you want to be separated from all the other riffraff that's out there, then this is the place to go, to thegoodcontractorslist.com. And there's a tab that says become a good contractor. You can see all the requirements, and we look forward to, talking to you wherever you are.
Awesome. And you mentioned register or homeowners registering. What does that entail?
It's simple. There's a registration form there, and uh, if you have contractors there in your area, that's you to be backed by that $25,000 guarantee. All you have to do is go to the website, thegoodcontractorslist.com, and register. Register for free. It just gets your basic information. We don't share it with anybody. It's just internal, and whenever we ever have to reach out to you, we know what and as we add on contractors, we'll be able to let you know who else has been added in your area. So, yeah, it's very simple.
Awesome. And you said you guys are in 17 states now?
Yeah, we've got representation in 17 states, and this is in 3 months. So,
Wow.
I was just in Dallas Fort Worth, so doing podcasts wasn't really an option for me because we weren't outside of DFW. But now, that's one of the reasons I'm on your show and trying to do many others, is to let people know there's a safe place to go. We just need to create it, and that's what we're asking for, their help.
Awesome. I think it's going to continue to grow, and you're doing great work, and I appreciate you again joining me and reaching out and sharing your story.
Thank you. I really appreciate you giving me the opportunity.
Thanks for listening. Connect with me on Instagram and Facebook at Surrendered Strength. Be sure to subscribe, like, and share, and live the Surrendered Strength Code: discipline, courage, honor.